everyone. Hello, Weeb Trash. Hello, Celeste. You're lurking? Enjoy your lurk. Is the audio balance okay? Do I need to turn down the game at all? The game doesn't have voice acting, so that's not a point of concern. But does it sound okay? Also, how are you guys doing tonight? I don't think I said that. I'll turn it down a little bit. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. I think. Alright, so we are playing Ayakashi Akashi. This is a supernatural mystery visual novel by Miwashiba, who some of you may know as the creator of games like One Bit Heart, Light, Alice Mare, I think, is another one of theirs. Pretty popular indie RPG type of game maker. But yeah, this is a supernatural mystery visual novel. I will say right now, this game is not complete. This is chapter 1. There has not been news about chapter 2 in years. I'm not sure if it's still going to be a thing. But chapter 1 is still very good on its own. It's very interesting, very intriguing, but unfortunately we are not going to solve the mystery. That said, though, let's go ahead and get started. This game has an autosave function, yep. There are beings known as Ayakashi. They cause peculiar phenomena and at times inflict harm. As consequence, they have long been seen as fearful beings. One could interpret their name as the Sharing Dead, for they merely seek the things they couldn't have in the places they once were. They simply want to share in those same blessings. This must be my punishment. In which case, there's only one thing to do. Ah! Ah! This is some rain, and to think it was sweltering earlier. I scratched my head and looked up to the sky. As if the good weather earlier were a dream, large drops poured from the heavens and struck against the ground unceasingly. Oh? Mr. Yoinara, whatever could you be doing out here? Well, what does it look like? Still gazing up at the sky, I waved my hands in front of my eyes. My slightly damp sleeves clung to my skin. My, so you haven't an umbrella? That's a pity. A pity, eh? Sounds like you don't intend to help. Why, for how often we're together, did you really think me the sort of person who would help in such a situation? Well then, I will take my leave. You will be late as well if you don't hurry, Mr. Yoinara. Paying no mind to me standing there, Tina left with a leisurely gait. Yep, that's just how she is. Guess I'll wait a little longer. Worst case, I'll go and get soaked. Increasingly filled with resignation as the sound of rain only got louder, I let out a sigh. And then 2 sets of footsteps broke through that sound, heading my way. Mister! Mister! You mean me? Mister! Mister? Oh, it's Misty, alright. What you doing, mister? I didn't bring an umbrella, so I can't go to school. I'm stuck. Are you kids lost? We're not lost, right? Right. Nope. Then what are you up to on this dreary morning? Mister? Not the best conversation I've ever had. Besides, I needed to hurry, or I'd be late for class. Mister! Sorry, but I'm in a hurry. Hold up here and keep out of the rain. It should help your parents to find you. It is still raining, but it's gotten better than before. May just have to put up with getting wet. Ignoring the 2 fussing children, I sprinted off into the raindrops that fell harder and harder. I didn't want to deal with this nuisance. Where are you going? Ruby's going too. I managed to give the slip to the 2 chasing children and arrive at school. What was with those kids? Oh, Yoi-chan! Morning! Good morning, Mr. Yoinara. Ah, Rokuro and Zero. Morning. You look kinda like an overworked mop today, Teach. I love Rokuro, he's so fun. It has been raining a whole lot. No umbrella? It wasn't raining when I left. That's why you gotta check the TV. True. Well, it'll dry soon at any rate. Come on, get back to the classroom. Right. First period. Math, right? I'm not the best at teaching it, but I've a fondness for mathematics. These buildings were old. To put it nicely, they had character. To put it meanly, they were falling apart. On rainy days especially, there were often places that leaked. And we didn't have many teachers nor students. I taught a class of 2nd years, but there was effectively only 1 class per grade. Though naturally, separate teachers were needed for supplementary subjects like art. Guess I'll get going. Fifth period at last. Mr. Yoinara, what are we doing today? At the end of each month at Yusei Junior High, 5th/6th period was a designated free period decided upon by the teacher and students. You could have an ethics lesson, or give time for self-study, or teach test-taking skills, all sorts of things. Sometimes we'd even play cards. To be honest, the principal tended to be accepting of anything. Maybe this kind of thing is only possible because it's an underpopulated rural school. So what will it be today? What will it be today? Chat. You can decide. Do we watch a history video? Do we allow for self-study? Or do we play cards? It's been a long time since the last time I played this. I don't actually remember having a choice here in the first place, to be honest. So, it won't lead to a bad end, at least. I can say that much with confidence. What shall we do? Okay. Chat isn't saying anything, so I'm gonna decide. We're gonna play cards. I'm getting a tad tired of cards by now. Seriously, is there anything else? There's not a lot else we can do with a large number of people. Well, at our school, games such as Othello and the like are common for small groups. Oh, that reminds me! I saw something in a magazine earlier. Giant pancakes. Those look delicious. Hey, those are the ones Maki Maki was eating. Yeah, they sure looked yummy. I'm interested too. Woo, come over here. I don't think that choice meant anything. Iya suddenly brought up the subject of large pancakes featured in a magazine, drawing several people over. Sheesh, they're so immature to be infatuated with pancakes at their age. Riku, you are in middle school. Yeah, I prefer fried chicken. You should lay off the fried food too. So hey, Riku, could I have you teach me today? Your grades seem fine to me, Karuta. I mean, I know you periodically get tutored, Riku. You should teach me now then! Wah! You surprise me. Considering your lack of will to learn, I don't exactly get the urge to teach you. Mino's willing to learn, but words are hard. How do you even live among society? Fine then, I'll teach you both. Come on. Woohoo! Yay! In addition to the pancake crew, there was another group gathering around Riku for tutoring. Seems they're truly treating this as nothing more than free time. Yoi-chan, you bored? I'm not bored. I've got the job of watching you guys. But just watching is boring, right? Look, I told you. Wanna play werewolf? Werewolf? Allow me to explain. Hey, that's the CG I used for the thumbnail. First, the players are randomly handed out roles on cards. The basic roles are Villager, Werewolf, and Seer. Seers and Villagers are in the Villager camp, while Werewolves are in the Werewolf camp. Villagers have no abilities. Seers can, at night, divine whether someone is a werewolf or a villager. And werewolves can eat anyone who's not on their side. During the day, everyone talks it out to determine who's a werewolf. If those in the werewolf camp can hide their identities and wipe out the villagers via executions or devourment, they win. And the villager camp wins if they identify the werewolves and execute them. So if you're a werewolf, you gotta deceive people to survive. Got it? Sounds pretty difficult. You'll pick it up as you play. Normally it spans several days, but let us adopt one-night werewolf rules to play for just one day. What do those entail? Since night only comes once, you must definitively hang the werewolf in one day before nightfall. To be frank, it's quite different from normal werewolf, but we have precious few people, so oh well. Being either saved or eaten in a single day sounds brutal. Hey, it's just that kind of game. Seems this one's caught on lately. There's all sorts of games out there these days. As for participants, let's have Sir Rokuro, Sir Zero, Mr. Yoinara, and how about you two? My, would you be alright with me? Tina feels like she'd be adept at this game, judging from the explanation. I don't need to play, do I? Well now, this game is more fun the more people you have. Aren't you lonely all by yourself? Who's all by herself? If you're asking for a fight, I'll give it to you. Kashima's so susceptible to agitation. Under the one-night rules, 2 roles will be added on top of the ones I gave before. First, the thief. They can trade cards with any one person. However, they won't know what that person's role is in advance. Second, the psycho. In the werewolf camp, yet the seer sees them as a villager, a real troublesome fellow. However, the werewolf doesn't know who's the psycho, and the psycho doesn't know who's the werewolf. But since this is one-night werewolf, the seer will be able to divine that the psycho is the psycho. In fact, the seer is able to divine anyone's exact roles. But still, the werewolf doesn't know who's the psycho, and the psycho doesn't know who's the werewolf. Actually, there are other roles that form a third camp, but it'll get rather complicated, so perhaps we can stick them in once we've learned how to play. I wrote some notes on the roles, so make use of them. Tremendously thoughtful. Lastly, in One Night Werewolf, there are 2 extra cards in the deck. The leftovers remain in a face-down state. Only the seer can know what's on these cards, or the thief if they steal a face-down card. But of course, should they pick one of these, they can't define the role of another player. I'm a bit fuzzy on it still, but I believe I follow. The ultimate division of cards will be 2 villagers, 2 seers, 2 werewolves, 1 thief, and 1 psycho. 8 cards in total. Now let's play around. At the proposal of Rokuro and the others, I ended up playing werewolf. Cards with roles written on them were passed out to each of us face down. Now then, everyone, check your role. Do it with protective prudence so the person beside you can't sneak a peek. My role is villager. That might make it easier to see the score than if I had a special role. Next, the werewolves will confirm who their allies are, and divining and thieving may take place. Everyone put your heads down on your desks. Each of the action phases came to an end. Upon Saseno's signal, everyone timidly lifted their heads. Well then, now begins daytime. Give statements like, "My role is this," and try to guess the werewolves. Who could the villainous werewolves of this world be? Since we have some novices playing, let's give it 10 minutes for the discussion. So, can I say something? Yes, go ahead. I'm Kashima Akebono, the seer. I used divination on Professor Yoinara. He was a villager. Aha, that's correct. Oh, really? What? Are you calling me a liar? He ain't calling you a truther. Whoa, don't shout so much. What are you, a crow? Who are you calling a crow? More importantly, I'm wondering if there's any other seers. Huh? I'm the seer. I am also a seer, though. Ho-ho! Well, there are 2 seers in the deck, so such a turn of events is possible. Who did you use divination on, Zero? About that. It was you, Akebono, and you came up as a seer. Well now, that doesn't exactly inspire confidence. How so? Does Akebono saying she's a seer and I saying the same not make it certain? If we can take you at your word, then that'd be true, but look at the big picture. It's easy peasy to make that claim right after Kashima-chan said she was a seer. Yes, that's true. Well considered, Rokuro. Am I right or am I right? No! Zero, if you're really a seer, be a little more tenacious. Who knows? Maybe a 3rd seer will show up. God, he's such a little shit. Will it now? A brief silence followed Kashima's agitated remark. It seems Kashima and Zero are the only ones claiming to be seers. To be honest, looking at the face-down cards would have made it easier for you to confirm what roles are in play. But Kashima-chan, Zero, I guess you were both just too dumb to arrive at that idea, huh? Whoa now, steady yourself. Calm down, take deep breaths. Yeah, come on, it's just a game. Sir Rokuro, I'd like to ask you to choose your words more carefully. And cease acting like a novice teasing sister-in-law. Well, I could kind of guess from your reactions. Sheesh, this guy. If I may interject. Oh? Don't tell me. A 3rd seer? No. I am the thief. Ooh. And I traded for one of the face-down cards, resulting in the role of villager. I see. In short, if Lady Tina can be believed, there is definitely at least one werewolf in the village. That is correct. You would say that. Is there something that offends you? Sure is. It's making my guts boil. 'Cause the real thief is me. Oh my. I swapped with Sesuna-chan, and Sesuna-chan was a villager. So from my point of view, it's pretty darn likely Tina-chan is with the werewolves. Though who can say if she's a psycho or a werewolf specifically. So I see. Well, from my point of view, I believe Madame Sesuna, the only one who has not stated her role or indicated another, is quite likely a werewolf. And the one who raised his voice to protect her is the psycho. That is what I would say. Is Rokuro a werewolf? Nope, the thief. I see. So you're on my side. Zero, come on. This is a rather tricky one. Who should I believe? Well, One Night Werewolf never provides much definitive info, which is what makes it tricky. But we have 4 players making statements concerning their own roles. Lady Kashima, a seer, Sir Zero, a second seer, Lady Tina, a thief, and Sir Rokuro, a second thief. Regarding the seers, there are 2 in the deck, so it is possible for 2 to exist. But only 1 thief card exists, so one of the 2 is certainly lying. And through divination and thefts, we've got statements about 3 people and 1 of the face-down cards. Kashima-chan divined Yoi-chan as a villager, and Zero divined Kashima-chan as a seer. Tina-chan stole a face-down villager card, and I stole Sesuna-chan's villager card. So the 2 whose roles haven't been corroborated are Zero and Tina-chan. Was I not a seer? If you really are a seer, you should believe in yourself a little more, okay? Got it. I'm a seer. Well, it'll be time to vote soon. If there's anything you want to ask, do it soon. I should ask for further details. Touch a student's icon to talk with them. Touching the question mark icon will advance the story, but if you advance without talking enough, it may sometimes result in a bad outcome. Alright, let's make sure we talk to everybody. Zero. I am a seer. I divined Akebono's role to be seer. Ask for more. Why did I choose her? No special reason. If I had to say, maybe because her seat was right in front of me? Maybe Rokuro's right, and looking at a face-down card would have been better. You'll just have to make use of that knowledge the next time you play. Right you are. So, as such, since Akebono said she divined you to be a villager, you're about the only other I can trust. So we're basically in the same boat. Rokuro? I'm the thief, and traded with Sesuna-chan, who was a villager. Why'd I choose Sesuna-chan? Easy. I felt bad for her, because I didn't think anybody'd pick her. What a thing to say. The more unknowns you can clear up, the easier it is, right? And yet you berated Kashima and Zero for not looking at the face-down cards? I mean, that is... You don't have to believe Kashima-chan, but believe me, okay? That's a little too convenient. You can interpret it however you like, alright, Yoi-chan? Sesuna! Now, how to interpret this game board? Well, ask as you wish, but all I can reply is that I'm a villager. Strictly speaking, if you trust Sir Rokuro, who confirmed me as a villager, then Lady Tina is either the psycho or a werewolf. If she's the psycho, then that would mean there's no werewolf. What happens then? In that case, there being no werewolf in the village means the psycho is not tempted by werewolves and joins the villager camp. This is referred to as a peaceful village, a village in which there was no werewolf to begin with. And in voting, if everyone votes for the person to their right, it distributes the votes and means no execution. which is an option you need to take in that event. I get it. Might have learned something good there. Kashima! I'm a seer. I divined Mr. Yoinara to be a villager. Huh? Why did I choose you? Right, it's true, I did think about checking Rokuro or someone like that, but I felt like it might be better to look for other allies. You phrase it as if Rokuro is your enemy. There's the possibility he is, isn't there? And just look at it. If we believe Tina is the real thief, Rokuro is either the psycho or a werewolf. And I suppose you're inclined to think Tina is the real thief. He called me an idiot! I'll never forgive him. She sure holds a grudge. Tina, I am the thief and traded for a face-down card, which was a villager. To paraphrase Sir Rokuro, I believe that looking at a face-down card would make it simpler to determine the distribution of roles. To restate my earlier point, my perspective is that Sir Rokuro's antagonism is quite suspect. Furthermore, his supposed trade partner being Sesuna-chan casts suspicion of her being in the werewolf camp. It is my personal opinion that there is very likely a single werewolf. The trouble, however, is deciding which of them is the werewolf. For there's no point in hanging the psycho. Come to think of it, I heard that thing from Sesuna. Judging from her reaction before the game, Tina doesn't seem to have played werewolf before, so... let's bring it up. Tina, let's just suppose that you're actually the psycho. In that case, there are higher odds of there being no werewolf here. And if everyone splits the vote by voting for the person to their right, there will be no execution. If everyone's a villager, everyone wins. That's known as a peaceful village, apparently. Ah, I was not aware of that. Well then, allow me to think for a bit. Hello, Wind! Welcome, welcome! We are playing Ayakashi Akashi, a supernatural mystery visual novel by Miwashiba, who you may know as the creator of games like One Bit Heart, Light, Alice Mare, etc. Currently, our main character, a middle school teacher named Professor Yoinara, is playing a game of werewolf with some of his students. The art is so pretty. It is! I love the aesthetics of this game. Right. Did that advance things any? Alright, so we talked to Tina. We should probably go back down the list and talk to everyone again. 0. Nothing new with him. Rokuro. Anything new I can say with Rokuro? Nope. Sesuna. She's just explaining the peaceful village thing again. Kashima. Alright then, I suppose we will advance the story. I told Tina about the peaceful village, so I bet that'll have some effect. Let's go. Well then, we're just about out of time, so does anyone want to say anything more? Pardon me, would I be permitted to say 2 or 3 things? Oh? First of all, I'm afraid I lied earlier, and for that I apologize. I am not the thief, but the psycho. Say again? Thus, the real thief is Sir Rokuro, and Madame Sesuna, with whom he traded, is a true villager. I would air my desire that we choose the option of a peaceful village. Incidentally, a peaceful village means the face-down cards are both werewolves, so there are no werewolves in the village. In this case, the absence of werewolves means the psycho goes in the villager camp. And if everyone chooses to vote for the person to their right, the vote is rendered meaningless and everyone opts for peace. I get it. But this doesn't erase the possibility that Tina-chan is a werewolf, not the psycho. That is correct, yes. As such, the rest depends on the trust you place in me. This has gotten complicated. Nah, it's simple, right? Either believe Tina-chan or don't. If you believe her, vote to your right. If you don't, vote for Tina-chan. I see. Alright, time is up, so please place your votes. On the count of 3, point at the one you wish to vote for, please and thank you. Sesana's to my right. Who should I vote for? Do we believe Tina and vote for Sesana? Or do we not vote for Sesana? Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards believing Tina. What do you guys think? I don't remember how this goes. Like I said, it's been years. I don't remember how the werewolf game actually goes, so... Who do we vote for? Hello, Orlando. Welcome, welcome. Not Sesana. Interesting. Ah, shit, I can't save here. Alright, we'll see what happens. It's not gonna lead to a bad end, at least. I don't think. Not Sesana. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it appears. Lady Tina, is it? It was unavoidable, I suppose. Now we'll reveal the cards all at once. Was this the correct answer? As you can see, I was the psycho. So there really wasn't a werewolf among us. I was not aware of it before, but this is quite a fun game. It's tense wondering what role you'll get. I think I've got it now. I'll try to do better next time. Feels like it'd be a pain if Rokuro or Tina had been werewolves. You're just dumber than me is all. Ahem. Ooh, scary, scary. Heaven help me. Kashima, don't get so emotional that you lose sight of your surroundings. You have a point. I lost control of myself. Of course, Rokuro, you shouldn't be so provoking either. I'm just telling the truth, okay? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Besides, Kashima gets better grades than you. That's right. But I'm better at this game, aren't I? Why aren't you saying anything? Mr. Yoinara? Well, well. Now that we've gotten the mood, let's go for round 2. Oh my. As expected, in a game that so closely resembles psychological warfare, you two are adept. Your compliment honors me. Sure, it's not just that all these guys are so easy to read. It's impressive how you can lie without hesitation, Rokuro. That's just the game, man. I don't normally lie, do I? Yes, I suppose so. Kashima is clearly upset. Cheer up, Kashima-chan. You've got a good conscience. You're just obvious, see? That's not true. Don't tell me she took that as a compliment? I'm equally unable to read the movements of Mr. Yoinara myself. Oh yeah? Professor Yoinara is unlike Sir Rokuro and Lady Tina. He just, well, unintentionally exudes an unreadable atmosphere, perhaps. Might I posit that in truth, he isn't especially thinking anything? Tina really said, our professor is head empty. Did something happen in your past so you lost your emotions or something? What kind of person do you think I am? Ah, perfect timing. Alright, get back to your seats. With that, the students returned to their seats one after another. Some of them sprinted over, while others returned with reluctant looks. After that, the class began moving their desks to the sides of the room for cleaning. Whew, all done. Wonder if it'll rain on the way home. Doesn't smell like rain, so Mino thinks it won't. Ooh, Mino's a good girl. She is. Not even remotely. Yikes! Why do you look like you've had the soul sucked out of you? English is still too tough for you, is it, Mino-chan? Gotta be Japanese, the curvy kind. Well, this is Japan after all. You can get by with just hiragana. Ooh, if Iya says so, it must be true. Might have to think of simpler reproaches even Mino can understand. Ah, by the way, are you coming to school tomorrow, Naki? I can attend until tomorrow. Next week I'll be off doing work again. Ah, I see. The world of showbiz is rough, huh? If it was idols, I'd know all the details, but what's your stage name again? Well, I act pretty different from the way I am normally, so it might be better for me if you don't know. Huh? What? Do you, like, act in plays? Sure, I've done jobs like that before. Whoa, I can't imagine. So, is there something about tomorrow? Since it's Friday, we were talking about the guys of the class hanging out together. Huh? Is it okay if I come too? Huh. Why not? After all, we hardly ever get to hang out with you. I see. Then I'd be glad to go. Whoa, Naki-chan's coming? Nice. Outdoors would be nice. It's stuffy inside. But I'd sure like to go to a candy store or something. Giving your all even in play. That's the way of men. Whoa, the boys sound like they're having a fun talk. Good for them. No girls allowed. Security freeze. These are most certainly middle schoolers. So mean. Well, fine. We'll get together tomorrow and do something too. Mino will come with. I'd rather go home and sleep. What if we went out and ate sweets? I'll go. I do not have plans, so I'm able to go as well. I haven't any special problem with that either. Ooh, sounds good. Kashima-chan, you're going too, right? Sure. Oh, just as I was fearing you might rebuke us as the class president. Do I detect a rather cheerful expression? Nope. Let's all go together, girls. I won't stop you from having fun, but don't go doing anything weird or playing around past dark. Huh? Like that's possible. Time flies when you're having fun. I'll go on patrol outside and arrest you if I see you. Yikes. It's hard to tell if you're serious or joking sometimes, Mr. Yoinara. Goodbye for now, Professor. Goodbye. Yes, goodbye. As if they had never been tired from cleaning at all, the students went trotting home with cheerful gaits. Once I finish up here, I should get home quickly. Yeesh. When I finished my duties and left the school, it was beginning to drizzle. Better than this morning. I hope it doesn't get worse before I get home. Mister! Hmm? Mister! Oh, the kids from this morning. What is it, you two? She is Shion. Baby is Neri-ne. What's wrong, mister? No, it's nothing. So, what do you want? I want to be with you, mister. Take us with you, mister. No, can't do that. People would call that a kidnapping. Where are you kids from? Where are your parents? Mister! What? What? Are you talking about me? I'm not your estranged uncle or anything. Not in any relationship, much less married. Mister? Maybe they weren't answering the question and rather just want to say mister. So, look, you two. Huh? In the instant I was looking down, the two children that had been there suddenly disappeared. Did they run off? I muttered that to myself, then ran along the road home. I sat on the bedside of a woman sleeping face up. I'm going to die, the woman whispered quietly. Stop it. I'm sure they'll come for me. Even if it takes decades, centuries, millennia, more than that even. Isn't this enough? So please, wait for me. Just... Sweat not only covered my brow, but dampened my dress shirt, making it cling to my skin. Still not morning? It seemed like I had fallen asleep like a pile of bricks as soon as I got home. My pulse was still rapid. Ugh. Still not morning. I looked at the clock. It was still 4 a.m. I questioned whether I should sleep. Since I had school tomorrow, I knew I had to sleep, but I didn't want to have that dream. Those feelings took precedence. I haven't had that dream in years. It's been a while since I did this, but maybe I'll sit and wait it out. I leaned my back against the wall, taking a not especially comfortable position so I wouldn't accidentally fall asleep. I wanted for the night to end like that, hearing only the noise of insects. It's morning. Before I knew it, the night had gone. It did occur to me, but this approach isn't good for the back at my age. I gently lifted my aching hips. Old man. I was decently proud of my sturdiness, but it seemed that too had become a past glory. I do sit down a lot during doing my duties as a teacher, too. Better get ready soon. What was that? Probably has to do with my lack of sleep. I'd have to sort myself out and sleep properly tonight. I can't put too much burden on my body. That's what my aching back had taught me. Morning. My students, actually even students from other classes, were gathered outside the classroom. Some were disconcerted. Some were having whispered discussions. Some were openly weeping. But all of their gazes were fixed on what was inside the classroom. Yoi-chan! Yuki's... Iya broke through the solid crowd of students to approach me. Her breathing was extremely erratic. And without even stopping to let me acknowledge her, she grabbed my arm and pulled me along. There, I saw Yuki lying down with her head in Kashima's lap. Hey, Yuki, what's the matter? Yuki? I tried shaking her body and lightly prodding her cheek, but she didn't respond. I quickly checked her pulse and whether she was breathing. Looks like she's just fainted. Have you called an ambulance? Ah, that's right. An ambulance. No, it's fine. You can calm down first, Kashima. I'll make the call. I left Yuki to dial for an ambulance. As I stood up, I saw into the classroom. There. I saw Rokuro in a gruesome state, hung in the center of the classroom. Hello, do you have an emergency? Is there a fire? Hello? The sound grew distant. All sounds were overtaken by the sound of my heartbeat. Oh, now it's kicking off. My senses returned with a start. This was... What's going on here? Looking around, I appeared to be under the overhang of a tea house, taking shelter from the rain. I had a strange uneasiness, and it seemed it refused to settle, instead growing larger and larger. Unable to bear it, I took off running without regard for the rain that beat against the ground. Morning, Yoi-chan. Whoa. Mr. Yoinara, you're soaking wet. Rokuro, you're alive? As I hesitatingly touched his body, Rokuro gave me a dubious look. What's the deal, Yoi-chan? Did the rain splash up so hard it hit you upside the head? It's not healthy to make yourself chilly. The two of them responded to my actions with curious looks. Was it just a dream? Ah, it's nothing. Sorry to do that all of a sudden. Huh, weirdo. I saw the two of them off to the classroom, then headed for the staff room to get some spare clothes. Glad I've got these here, since I always get my clothes dirty catching wild dogs that trespass and whatnot. Kashima was standing outside the door to the staff room. Her eyes seemed filled with fear. What's up, Kashima? Mr. Yoinara. It's nothing. With that quick remark, Kashima went running off. Before I knew it, it was first period. I observed the students' behavior, but most of them didn't seem concerned about anything. However, Kashima alone was giving off a restless air. First period Friday is English, right? I was checking the schedule and thinking out loud when the students went to buzz. Yoi-chan, today's Thursday, isn't it? So it's math, right? That's right, no English today, so Mino didn't bring her textbook. Thursday? I hastily turned on my cell phone. According to the screen, today was indeed Thursday. Yoi-chan! While I struggled to grasp the situation, Rokuro indifferently called out. What, do you need something? Just wanted to ask, Yoi-chan. I was dead here, wasn't I? Forgot there was a whole opening sequence. explain it, but it's reminding you of, like, Corpse Party. I can see it. Oh, by the way, Wind, I wanted to mention, the creator of this game, Miwashiba, who's also the artist and stuff, you may know them from having done the art for a few iconic Vocaloid music videos. Off the top of my head, I know they've done Reto Joto and Okochama Senso. I'm pretty sure they've done some more Giga songs, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, they did the art for those music videos. Also, this is a very great moment for me to get up for a moment. I will be back momentarily. Alright, I am back. But yeah, I love Miwashiba's art, and I really love another one of their games, One Bit Heart. It's legitimately one of my favorite video games ever. I would love to play it on stream sometime. But this one is very fitting for the spooky season, so that's why I went for this one first. Anyways, Rokuro's words made my throat tighten. At the same time, it felt like the other students' expressions stiffened as well. You were dead. Do you mean hung? Yeah, that. What's the meaning of this? I mean, it means exactly what I said. No way. So that wasn't a dream? Don't tell me you saw it too. Huh, everybody had the same dream? I woke up in front of the flowers, so I thought I'd nod it off. Rokuro, weren't you saying it was probably just a dream too? I mean, obviously we wouldn't be having class otherwise, right? Besides, the students and teachers in the other classes didn't seem to know. But Yoi-chan, you seemed like you might. You found my actions this morning curious too, didn't you? Look, meeting your teach in the morning and him doing that all of a sudden is surprising stuff, right? Doing what? What did you do to Rokuro? Enough of that. For now, who here had a dream about seeing Rokuro's hanged corpse? The students glanced at each other nervously and reluctantly raised their hands. Everyone? What's going on? Were all of us sleepy? This is an occult phenomenon indeed. First, I want to hear from everyone one by one. I'll have you come out into the hall in seating order. Start with your seat number and name, and if you know of anything unusual or curious that's happened lately, tell me. What's the intent of that? There's no question that there's a strange phenomenon going on, and I see some of you are feeling quite anxious. So my goal is to both grasp the situation and provide counseling, I suppose. Make sure to come in order, starting from the front left seat. Understood. Tina Etupirka, seat number 4. Anything unusual? Let us see. There have been rumors amongst the girls as of late. Some say they hear strange voices. Strange voices? Like what? Well, it's not as if I heard them myself. Inquire with Ia, if you please. Tina was a wealthy daughter from the Etupirka financial conglomerate. In short, a very large group that held considerable power in this area. As for the girl herself, I guess I should say hard to get a hold on. While her thinking in itself was sound, her unbending nature made it common for her to clash with other people, which was a bit concerning. It is a very strange occurrence for this class alone to all have the same dream. Hopefully it is a dream. Alright, you can go. Pardon me. Seat number 2. Yuki Utashiro. I'm sleepy. That's nothing new. You were the first witness, Yuki? I'm part of the campus cleanup committee, so I woke up early to water the flowers in the classroom. And then I fainted as soon as I saw it. Yuki always seemed to be sleepy and half awake during class at best. However, she did good work for the cleanup committee every morning, so I didn't think she lacked diligence. Even if she nodded off in class. Not every day you see a corpse. It's alright. Get some rest. Okay. I'm sure it was just a dream, yeah. Though I don't feel like I slept at all. We are technically in class, so don't sleep now. Aww. She was all set to conk out, huh? Seat number 7, Iya Shishibe. Heya. Tina told me you've heard strange voices. Strange voices? Oh yeah, I did. Kind of like moaning. You know, I have always felt that Iya looks very similar to Astolfo. Moaning? Sorta like that? I'd call that growling myself. Yeah, that's the ticket. Ia looked and acted flashy, but didn't behave badly or anything. I'd call her a light-hearted student. But occasionally she'd be too light-hearted and have that taken advantage of. Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with this, though. Right now, I want to hear whatever anyone has to say. Alright, you're done. Righty-tooty. Righty-tooty? Kashima Akebono, seat number 1. No need to strain your voice so much. I am the class president, so I feel it's only expected of my title. So, something unusual? I can't really say I know anything. Wouldn't even count Rokuro dying, honestly. Not even a person's death? Look, you'd just plain expect him to get murdered, right? Even if it was a mass dream. Well, I do expect he'd earn grudges. There have been countless times I might have gone through with my murderous intents, if not for the laws of this land. She really said, had it not been for the laws of this land, I would have slaughtered you, Rokuro Yamakagashi. That's frightening. I think I remembered his last name, right? I know he's got a very long last name. Like, he doesn't earn it with the things he does. I'd prefer if he were a simple skirt flipper, honestly. You're fine with skirt flipping? Why not? It's just fabric. Kashima was overly serious, or maybe more accurately, she played by her own bizarre rules. Sometimes she'd make dangerous-sounding proclamations, too. And there had indeed been times she nearly went fists flying. She had a tendency to let her feelings overcome her a bit too often. Despite how she spoke, her eyes were wavering quite a bit, likely due to her over-diligent personality. With everyone thinking it was a strange dream, she might have been the one most disturbed by this incident. Well, okay, don't overdo it. You can go now. Excuse me. I am Sesena Kano, seat number 5. The god within me is speaking. They say, things have been much too peaceful thus far. In other words, you yourself have nothing to note besides the incident. Jumping jalopy jackpot! What the heck does that mean? Why, just what it sounds like? Why is she making a face like it's only natural I understand it? Well, I believe it to be a bad dream, but... Sesena. She surely loved the occult. She'd sometimes bring up spiritual matters, often making me unsure how to react. The phrases she uses tend to get oddly stuck in my memories. In fact, I almost said them myself sometimes. Okay, you can go now. Righto, regarded rigatoni. What? Mino narai date. Seat number 9. Yep. Something strange? Is teacher really a virgin? I forgot about this! Who told you that? Yeah! Her, huh? The answer's no. Ooh, I see. So, what's a virgin? That's where we're headed, huh? Oh well, nothing from you then. Is it something you eat? You're not exactly wrong. Got it. She don't got it. Mino was as lighthearted as Ia. Or rather, she was basically floating. Wild would probably be the ideal word to describe Mino. Much like a feral child, her physical abilities were extremely high, but she mostly flunked outside of PE. Alright, you can go back to your seat now. Gotcha! Seat number 6, Naki Kokoriko. Let's see. I don't think I know anything. I haven't come to school in a while. Right, you can only occasionally come to school due to your performing work. Yeah, no helping that. Well, I mean, I think it was a dream. It's just all kinds of strange. It caught you so off guard. Same! Naki was active in the entertainment world from a young age, and seemed fairly popular, so he could only sometimes come to school. Even so, he was an excellent student who got above-average test scores. His lack of attendance made it hard to show that on a report card, though. He apparently used a stage name, but I'd never seen Naki on TV, even though, according to him, he appeared pretty regularly. So right when you arrived, disaster struck. Don't put it like that, Mr. Yoinara. I'm a student of Class 2-1-2. Right, sorry. You can go back now. Don't push yourself too much, Mr. Yoinara. I did remember his name right. Rokuro Yamakagashi, seat number 12. Well, I wouldn't say there's been anything too bizarre. Just getting my body tore up and hung and killed, but that's all. You're the one I wanted to hear from the most. But seriously, that is all I've got. Basically, I'm the one who wants to know what happened to me. Rokuro was the most difficult person to deal with in the class, and the hardest to tell what he was thinking. Self-conceited and not very cooperative, he was a load of trouble. If only he were a little more mature. If even you don't know, guess there's nothing I can do. That's right. You can go for now. I'll ask later if something strikes me. You want to talk to me that badly, Yoi-chan? Not right now, nope. Feel free to leave. Rude! Seat number 8, Riku Takaso. What has me curious is how I heard you've been going to the local Abara Soba shop recently. Pretty much daily, if I hear right. How do you know that? Oh, because I go there too. Karuta likes Abara Soba. Come to think of it, he does. Is that unusual? I'm constantly shaking my head at how you two can eat it so often and never get tired of it. Riku was highly self-confident and looked down on others some, but proved a helpful sort. He and Karuta got along well. I did feel that their friendship was mostly a result of Karuta's tolerance for giving Riku's eccentricity, though. You're getting older, Mr. Yoinara, so you should pay more heed to your health sooner or later. If I could die from Abara Soba, I'd be pretty happy with that. Karuta said something similar. You guys are beyond help. If that's all you wanted to ask, you can leave now. Got it. Excuse me. That really was it. Seat number 3, Karuta Uruwashi. Something strange, huh? Like you eating Abara Soba every day? Riku already mentioned that. Oh, I see. Then I'll ask Riku later. No need to do that. Karuta had no particularly specialties, but he hit a high average, you might say. He generally gave me the impression that he could shrewdly work out anything. He had a big-hearted personality, too. No real faults to speak of. Nothing else in particular? Oh, the new Abara Soba shop they opened in Kantenbashi is pretty good. That is good info. Nice. Let's eat there together sometime, Mr. Yoinara. Later. You can go back to your seat. Okay. Haito Minai, seat number 11. Anything amiss? Ah, well, I won a ticket to an Emi-chan concert recently. Is she an idol? Yeah. You like her too, Mr. Yoinara? I just know the name. What a shame. She'll brighten up your life. Anyway, that's why if time really got rewound, it makes me want to die. Haito liked pop idols, enough to sometimes skip school and go to concerts. Lately, he's been cautious not to let his grades drop accordingly, but show some moderation. If you make your truancy too obvious, there will have to be extreme measures. Which is more important to you, Mr. Yoinara, studying or living? I suggest you live and study. You can go now. Yep. I love the class so much. They've all got such distinct personalities. Seat number 10, Zero Manzanka. Nothing's really amiss. I grew a little taller. You're still growing? How tall are you? 191 centimeters. Once again, I would like to emphasize that this is a middle school class. Huh. That's outrageous. I wonder if this is a dream, too. It isn't right now, I'm sure. Figures. Zero had a large frame, making him the most conspicuous in the class. Often he would react candidly or be spacing out. Something that had me curious. I felt like people picked fights with him often, even students from other schools. Part of the problem was that he didn't generally turn people down. Considering how often I saw him with Rokuro, I couldn't take my eyes off him for a number of reasons. Alright, you can go now. Right. Ouch. You sure are clumsy. Yes. Zero was the last one. I'll head back to the classroom. As I thought, the students all seemed to believe this event was a dream. The death of a classmate, the reversal of time, true, they both sound like dreams. So what all have you ascertained from us? We just had the same mass dream, after all. Something like that, right? No. I'm certain this is the work of an Ayakashi. Ayakashi? How occult. Hold on now, you can't just throw out that word casually and expect us to understand. For now, just listen to me. Let me ask you all. What do you think happens to people when they die? Who would know without dying first? You go to the good place. Ah, heaven, right? There exists the world of spirit, or the world of gods, the world of spirits, the world of the dead, the physical world, and hell. We exist in the physical world, and... Did not get to read all of that, but okay. Susuna, you can stop there. I'm guessing it'd be a long one. There are many theories about the afterlife, but people generally believe that the soul leaves the body, and that soul goes to some other world. To put it simply, that world and this world can be thought of as opposing shores. You guys must be pretty serious to be thinking about the afterlife while you're still living. Death is a once-in-a-lifetime event, after all. Longing to know things that are hard to know might just be human nature. Man, really gotta make sure I stay hydrated during these types of streams. However, there are exceptional cases where souls can't reach the other shore. So it's not as if you go there immediately once you die. Souls with strong feelings toward this world will stubbornly refuse to cross over. Ah, like Jibakure, the earthbound spirits. If only the soul wanders the world of the living, then that's what it is, yes. But on rare occasion, it may cling to its body and become a living corpse. Sounds like what you'd call a zombie. You're not necessarily wrong. Simply put, since their body is dead, it won't mature anymore. To break it down into even simpler terms, they're ghosts that anyone can see. But if the process is quick enough, couldn't it be treated like a miraculous revival? Wouldn't it be possible for them to just return to living as normal then? To jump ahead a bit, yes it would. And more troublesome yet, souls that dwell here too long begin to grow mad and lose control of their self. At the root of their desire to remain in this world lies an attachment to life. When a soul loses control, that attachment grows stronger, and it attacks the living. So it becomes even more out of control. Right. That's why people like us send them to the other side. We call the deceased who seek to share the blessings of the living Ayakashi. And we are their senders, so we call ourselves. I have heard the term, something about a lineage of diviners forming a succession. I haven't, but you're not a teacher, Teach? Well, I wasn't always set to be a successor. But then my elder sister died. I inherited the duty from her after quitting my old job and becoming the teacher I am now. So you're saying this affair wasn't a dream, but an Ayakashi's doing? That's what I think, yes. Doesn't feel very realistic. It's too outrageous to keep up with. Sure, but if you look around, unrealistic things are happening. It's more believable to me that it was a nightmare we all had together. So, Yoi-chan, whose fault are you saying it is? That I don't know yet. Judging from the fact that the effects have only been on this class, all I can say now is there's a possibility they're here in our class. There's an Ayakashi with Mino? Ho ho, I'd love to speak with them. Don't! Won't they slice you up? If this were a manga, it'd be like you'd notice someone had a special aura, or you'd use some sixth sense. But you can't tell, Mr. Yoinara? As I said, I wasn't originally meant to be a successor. Maybe my sister could have done that, but I can't. I wonder, what'll happen tomorrow? Probably I'm gonna die again, right? Then we just need to protect Rokuro. It's currently unclear what circumstances led to Rokuro being attacked, though. Is there any way I could assist, Mr. Yoinara? I'll help out too! And Mino! Alright, how about you gather up books on yokai? Yokai. Actually, those are referred to as Ayakashi too. Is there a meaning to that? The beings we call Ayakashi have existed for a long time. We use Ayakashi in a specific way now, but the word far predates that. I'm thinking we'll look for creatures whose natures match our current phenomenon, then go from there. I would have thought you'd be knowledgeable since that's your line of work. My previous job was totally unrelated to all this as well. I never believed that much in anything related to the occult, so I lack that knowledge. Would Sesuna know a lot? I do know more than the average person, but it's not all stored in my head like I'm a walking dictionary, I'm afraid. However, I may be of service in finding the proper literature. Let's go to the library then. Are you sure? Aren't we having class? The principal's pretty lax. We'll manage. You're so graceless, Yoi-chan. Kashima still doesn't seem to have digested the situation. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's nothing especially new in any of this. You can see their grades. That's funny. Oh my god, Mino. Sweetie. Items, werewolf notes. Alright, yeah. Proceed. Hello. Why aren't you proceeding? Alright, well, I'm gonna save. Hello. Allow me to proceed! Ah, there we go. We need to go search the library. Climbing up some awfully creaky steps, we arrived at the school library. It was a snug little room, but filled with a large variety of books. There were some history books, dictionaries, even somewhat dated manga and novels. Are there books on Ayakashi? Allow me to answer as the library assistant. There are also books in that small storeroom over there, you see? And I believe we'll have better luck. Oh, it's been locked. Going back to the first floor to borrow the key from the staff room would be troublesome. Mino can open it. Won't open. If you need physical labor, it's my time to shine. No, hold on. We can't force it open. If we break the door, we'll be in trouble for sure. Then, how about lockpicking? Ah, such a thrilling notion. I cannot perform it myself, however. I bet Rokuro could, right? Hey now, what kind of life leads somebody to learn lockpicking? No, I can't do it. Eh? You've totally got the personality of someone who could. Consider the full extent of my life, not just what I'm like. I can do it, I think. Really? That's a surprising skill. Surprising is an understatement. I couldn't have imagined it for a millisecond. I was on a show once where the director was looking for realism. He had me practice over and over until I could just do it. It was a while ago though, so I can't be certain. Lockpicking. That needs a wire. Mino has one in her treasure collection. Whoa, amazing! Is that an extra-dimensional pocket? Treasure? You're sure it's not garbage? You probably shouldn't say that within earshot of Mino. Well then... Oh, hold on. Mr. Yoinara, will picking the lock get us in trouble? It's fine in my book. Ah, that's good. Well then, let's give it a shot. With that, Naki turned to the storeroom door and began to work. Just as I found myself thinking, what middle schooler can pick a lock, there was a small, echoing click. And with a twist of the knob, the door opened with a slightly unpleasant creaking sound. A few of the students watching raised their voices in admiration. Whoa, it really opened. Is there even a point in security measures? In this case, I believe Sir Naki's skills should be applauded. I don't think it's a very commendable skill. Well then, now we can scrape together some books. Please give me a moment. Entering the storeroom with a forceful shout, Sesuna started pulling books off the shelves at a rapid pace. I'll hold some books too. I'm a library assistant myself, but the duties always fall to her since I'm not around. Let Zero help too. He's super strong. Leave it to me. Sir Rokuro, won't you assist? Well, you gotta give the right job to the right guy, yeah? I'll go ahead and check these books for info on Ayakashi. I'm their first victim, after all. That's more efficient, right? Quite a convincing excuse coming from you, Sir Rokuro. Thanks for the compliment, Sesuna-chan. I'm not really one for reading. I guess I'll help carry? If Iya carries, Mino will carry too. If that's what you girls are doing, I'll handle searching, I guess. Maybe I'll search as well then. That's more my style. The students went dividing up duties. Ultimately, the book-carrying group and the materials-searching group were of exactly even size. So, how should we look this up? For now, we'll make our judgments based on Rokuro's cause of death and predicament. You might not want to remember it, but if you could give a little more detail. I went home without making any stops, like usual, and sat at home like usual too. At least I'm pretty sure I did. And then suddenly, someone's standing in front of me. Next thing I know, I'm in the 2-1 classroom. And even though I'd changed my clothes at home, I was wearing my uniform. Before I could grasp the situation, someone gouged me hard enough to make entrails fly. Yeah, basically instant death. You're really something, kid. Mr. Yoinara, I gotta use the bathroom. Go ahead. Okay. Haito shot off like a rocket before I could even finish speaking. Well, sure. To call that an extreme description is an understatement. How are you even able to recall what happened so clearly? Well, it was a mystery to me too. What happens to people when they die? But then I experienced. First, my soul left my body. I was looking at me. A near-death experience. Or something like it, I suppose. It's not near-death if he actually passed away, though. Glad that was a dream, but all the stuff I sensed wasn't very dreamy. It didn't hurt. Maybe since they went so hard, all my senses died before I could even understand the pain? My ears were ringing the whole time. I couldn't understand anything, except that, oh, I'm dying. Do you not recall who did you in? I remember, but I can't say it here. Why so unwilling? There's a sequence to things, Yoi-chan. Now's not the time. It's amazing you can remember that much. I'm like, what was I just dreaming about all the time myself? So anyway, that Ayakashi? Its attempt to kill me failed, obviously. Because they messed with the omniscient, omnipotent, and sage Rokuro-chan. What an exaggerated scale. That's the part where you're supposed to laugh, Yuki-chan. We're talking about serious things here. If we keep talking serious stuff, won't everyone end up like Haito-chan? Ugh. So then, in what way will this guide us to our Ayakashi? To surmise from what we just heard, we have capable of kidnapping people and capable of tearing up bodies. So we need only search for an Ayakashi that possesses these two qualities. No, I want you to be thinking of them separately. Very rarely, there are Ayakashi that have incredible power, but in practice, overly powerful abilities tend to destroy their fragile bodies. A freshly dead amateur Ayakashi would be blown to smithereens. Calling an Ayakashi an amateur is strange in a lot of ways. The smart ones are apparently able to conceal themselves in our world without anybody noticing their unmaturing body. However, most are noticed by the people around them and they come talk to us. So it's possible not much time has passed since they died. Actually, why would dying and being revived give them mysterious powers anyway? I hear that the heightened power of the soul caused by their attachment to life does something or another. That isn't exactly a point that you should be so vague on, is it? But if that's the case, that means there are two? At least. It's also rare for Ayakashi to cooperate, but it's not unheard of. Could there be others, I wonder? Personally, I'm most curious about the reversal of time. But at the current stage, who knows if it was actually reversed or what? Since there's a possibility it was a prophetic dream or the like. I cannot believe that was a dream! Kashima pounded a desk and shouted to interrupt everything we were saying. Whoa. What are you shouting for all of a sudden? I find it much harder to accept that what I felt then was just fiction. My happiness at being invited out after school the day before, and how I looked after Yuki when she collapsed. The weight of Yuki's head on my legs, and my thought of why did Rokuro have to die? The way you always treat me, you sure you didn't think serves him right? Of course not! Sure, Rokuro's not a good person, but he's not a bad person either. I heard a loud voice over here. Whoa, what's wrong, Kashima-chan? Did Rokuro finally make you cry? Rokuro, you no good. No, it wasn't me, okay? Kashima, you've been quietly enduring this whole time? Or this the whole time? You did seem to have taken this incident the hardest out of everyone. I see. When you asked about it this morning, I said probably just a dream and laughed it off. I'm sorry. Besides just Rokuro, I can't imagine there are any bad people in this class. Looking at everyone here, as the class president, I can't think anything else. You're right. It's unbelievable that there'd be a villain among us. It's totally fine to have ideals, but in the end, you're just hoping, right? Now hold on, you didn't have to phrase it like that. Then would you be okay with it if you died tomorrow, Iya-chan? You saw how I kicked it. I didn't die because I wanted to. Somebody did the deed. Feel free to go into a little more detail. Until nobody can help but believe there's a killer among us. Rokuro, give it a break. Rokuro! His body went numb from Zero's shout, the likes of which I'd never heard before. Zero approached Rokuro, then lifted him up a little roughly with one hand. I'll borrow this, and I'll apologize in your place. Kashima, Iya, sorry. Why are you apologizing, Zero? Yeah, it's Rokuro who's saying all that mean junk. He just doesn't know how to use his words very well. Forgive him. You realize you're still agreeing with me that it's wishful thinking, right? You're some idiot yourself, Zero. Kashima-chan, Iya-chan, you shouldn't put much hope in other people. I think you'll live more comfortably that way. Ow. Still holding him with one hand, Zero firmly hit Rokuro on the back with the other. And just like that, they vanished among the bookshelves. Wow, I've never heard Zero shout like that. Kashima-chan, you okay? Yes, sorry. Thanks. I must admit, Sir Rokuro's excuse had a bit of logic to it. For when humans interact with others, they hide that which is inconvenient to them. More importantly, we must quickly find our bearings regarding the Ayakashi. For our time is limited, isn't it, Mr. Yoinara? But, teacher, is it okay to leave those two alone? Zero had a real stern look. It was kind of scary. Indeed, I am curious about those two, considering how Zero was acting. However, how Kashima and Iya feel after all that is also a concern. Like Tina says, if someone's going to die again tomorrow, we need to be quick in searching these materials. What do we do? Go after Zero and Rokuro? Comfort Kashima and Iya? Or keep researching? Keep researching? Alright, go ahead and research Ayakashi. My, you aren't concerned about the other students' needs? I bet they're more on top of things than I think. More importantly, something needs to be done about this. Time's not gonna wait for us. Such a candid sort, Mr. Yoinara. You're pretty cool-headed yourself. Father has raised me such that such trifles will not shake me. What's your father like, anyhow? Oh my, you seem to have no interest in the other students, so I believed you to have no interest in myself either. I didn't say anything like that. Only joking. Come now, they're carrying over one book after another. Let us research. Man, I can't believe how many copies of the same book this place has. Unreturned books were a frequent occurrence, as I'm told. Hup. Well, at any rate, this much should be plenty. Making multiple copies of everything with the expectation of them being stolen. Our principal's absurdly heavy-handed, huh? There's been a sharp decrease in that since I became a library assistant, however. Parentheses, relatively speaking, close parentheses. But you still need this many, huh? Well, how is progress looking? A bit troubled. We still haven't found anything. We've been looking for Ayakashi with qualities resembling capable of abducting and capable of tearing people up, right? I see. Should we help look too, then? Ah, how about this? The Aobozu. There's also the Yamanba. Or how about the Tsuchigumo? Tengu. There's quite a few that could fit when it comes to abducting people. As for attacking people, Kamaitachi? Oh, but they heal the wound. Wolfmen. Do those count as yokai? There's also Nekomata, I guess. Well, anything to narrow it down helps. Finding a link to the events of their life will make it easier to get to the specifics. Events of their life? Because Ayakashi have an abnormal amount of attachment to this world, you can expect their life provided a reason for that. For kids around your age, the most common thing would be familial circumstances. Ah. So in other words, wouldn't that be the kind of matter they wouldn't dare talk about? Let me append a bit about Ayakashi. To send an Ayakashi to the next world, they have to be made aware of their death. And Ayakashi extremely dislike becoming aware of how they died. Only makes sense, I suppose. I wouldn't say Ayakashi don't feel guilt, but their attachment to life beats out all other emotions. And Ayakashi confessing of their own accord will more or less never happen. And more troublesome is that sometimes even they're not aware they're an Ayakashi. Meaning, you have to expose them by force. In a case like this where no one notices what they are, that you do. Gosh, even when you're alive though, there's all kinds of stuff you wouldn't want others knowing about. Yet it's utter absurdity to say that we should hand over our lives for such a reason. Just because time was reversed once does not mean it will happen again tomorrow. In which case, someone's really gonna die. This is getting really scary all of a sudden. Still, there's no guarantee someone will die tomorrow either. We have to do whatever possible to avoid the worst case scenario. But what do we do now? I'd like to go out and check some different materials, personally. Can Mino go too? No, I'm afraid I can't think of a good excuse to take my students outside. But you can't just leave us either, right? We can manage something. If another teacher asks or whatever, we just need to give some excuse. I'd appreciate it if you could, but we just gotta make a scarecrow that looks just like Mr. Yoinara. Ooh, that might be good. Though we'll be found out if anyone looks too close. With a mop from the broom closet, I believe we can make something convincing. True, if we dip it in a little ink, they shouldn't notice it's a mop at a glance. Do I resemble a mop that closely? I mean, kinda. Well then, I'll hurry out. You get back to the classroom. Understood. I'll keep a close eye on everyone. But the principal was walking around on the third floor earlier. It'll be trouble if he sees you and asks what's up. You're right. Maybe you should go during the break after this period? That does make sense. Getting caught could be really costly. There's only about 10 minutes left. Guess I'll wait. Touch a student's icon to talk with that group. By interacting more with students, you may encounter special events later on. Touching the question mark icon will advance time. I'm trying to think. There's quite a bit more to this than I remembered there being, I think. Like, there's at least a couple more hours worth of gameplay, and I do not have time for that tonight, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. We'll save in file 18. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, and we will pick this up next week, I think. Tomorrow we're just doing Genshin weeklies, same as usual. How do I get back to the home screen? Wild. Anyways, yeah, tomorrow should be Genshin weeklies, same as usual. I will get the schedule out for next week, sometime tonight or tomorrow. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. I hope you've enjoyed this so far, and I hope to see you all next time.